Greetings, fellow interloper, it's Taylor. You know, I love playing this game, and I love all of the work and progress that's been made from such a small team of developers at Hello Games. The contrast of today's game compared to the day one version is absolutely mind-blowing. But even with all the updates and improvements, I still wonder what kinds of things would help make this game even better. So I present to you my top 7 things that I think would take this game into a whole new stratosphere. I need to warn you though, my number 1 is going to probably get a lot of heat from some of you guys, though I hope I can state my case so you can at least see where I'm coming from. All respectful disagreement is encouraged in the comments, so please let me know what you think. Alright, let's get into it. Coming in at number 7. The addition of pets to the game has been a lot of fun for most, but let's face it, it seems as though that excitement has died down somewhat. In a recent Whiskey Barrel poll, which asked if you were still summoning your pet, nearly half of you answered with, "Nope. Was fun at first, but they really don't do anything." My answer to this is quite obvious, so yeah, let me talk about the 4,000-pound Diplo in the room. These pets need more functionality. Some ideas that come to mind are as follows. Have certain traits be associated with their functionality. While this is somewhat true in today's pets, it's honestly not very useful. What I'd love to see is for the egg sequencer to force you to focus on what you want your pet to specialize in. Once you go down that pet's skill tree, that's the path you take to improve upon that particular skill. This forces you to plan out which pets you want to do certain tasks. So depending on what you need done, you'll summon that particular pet for the job at hand, thus allowing you to interact with all of your pets so you can enjoy each of them equally. For instance, a max level helpful pet could gather certain elements at your command and actually be able to use their equipment to aid in their work, such as mining lasers and storage canisters, which would allow them to collect and actually store their discoveries. Or perhaps you've run into a walker and a group of sentinels that you'd like an extra hand with, so you call in your aggressive pet to join you in combat. That would be awesome. And to cap off this suggestion to increase the bond with your pets, it would be great to have a pet area on your freighter, a pet pen of sorts, where your pets hang out when not summoned, but you're still free to interact with them. I mean, who hasn't admired their ship collection from atop the hangar stairs? It's fun to see your collections in one place. Well, the same holds true for pets, I think. Number 6 is something I was pretty surprised that HG hasn't implemented yet, and that's the ability to add storage augmentations to your Exocrafts, coupled with default hazard protection similar to the Minotaur Exomech. If you've played any amount of time, you know that unless you're in the Colossus, by the time you've added your hazard protection and some boost and engine mods, you have literally just a few slots available for storage. And, well, if you're using the Bat Pod, then you can forget about storing anything at all. I'd love to see something introduced to an Exocrafts GeoBay, which allowed for storage augmentations as well as augments to scan for salvage data and hotspots without having to leave the confines of your vehicle. At present, sure, you can scan while inside your Exocraft, but the ability to locate hotspots and salvage data would be a great quality of life improvement I could really get behind. It would probably make the most sense to just add them to the existing Exocraft update tree that we currently have inside the Anomaly. Or they could be an a la carte option with space station vendors like the newest launch thruster mods. Alright, number 5. While we get to enjoy recent expedition updates every now and again, expeditions have actually been part of the game for a while now. As you know, we can buy frigates and level them up by sending them out on expeditions to bring back a variety of riches. While fun at first, you can reach a certain point of ridiculous wealth where your desire to continue sending them out does drop considerably. What I feel would make for a more immersive and fun experience is to expand the mission prep by not only selecting which group of frigates you send out, but actually recruiting crew members to place aboard those frigates. We're already recruiting engineers for our farms, Exocrafts, weapons, and construction areas. It would be pretty cool to scan NPCs at space stations and make salary offers to have them join the fleet. The salary mechanic would be vital to keeping the money supply at a level where you still feel motivated to earn. Alright, coming in at number 4. When you start off playing No Man's Sky, it's, let's face it, easy to be overwhelmed, in a good way, at what 256 different galaxies, along with 4 galaxy types, has to offer. Sadly to say, once you leave Euclid expecting something totally different, you are served up with more of the same. But of all the awesome things this game has to offer, for me, the biggest disappointment was that there seems to be no real galaxy identities established, other than their proportion of planet biomes. You know, I would rather have 10 unique galaxies with their own look and feel, with half the planets Euclid has, than have a quadrillion planets and 256 galaxies which all feel very similar. It's not to say this has to stay this way, of course. This game is constantly evolving, so introducing unique traits which are present only in certain galaxies certainly seems possible. At minimum, I think it would be cool to introduce unique topographical features such as waterfalls and rivers into lush galaxies, as well as their own unique flora and fauna. Base parts in lush galaxies could use special materials only present and functional in lush galaxies. Harsh galaxies could have beautiful firestorms and solar flares. Snow and ice could be used as base parts as well as their own unique and dangerous fauna not available in any other galaxy type. I think you get the picture. In other words, adding more depth and personality to each galaxy would really bolster the desire for exploration, which, to me, is truly what this game does so well. You know I mentioned number 1 is possibly splitting the community, but number 3 might create some debate as well. So I'm just going to say it. In its present state, I think the No Man's Sky monetary system is somewhat broken. By that, I mean that, well, after a while this game goes from a normal game to essentially a creative mode because within a relatively short period of time, you're a billionaire with little worry about resources and being able to work towards an end goal. So what happens when the No Man's Sky cost of living remains static while the universe continues to produce trillions of units for players? Well, the simple answer is that you need to move on to find other things to do because, after all, you love playing No Man's Sky. It was fun to create activated indium farms and build stasis device farms and make insane amounts of money. The reality is, there's really no difference with having 1 billion versus having 4 or 5 billion units. So, how do we fix this? Well, aside from becoming Zimbabwe and charging 5 billion units for an S-Class hauler. My first thought was having some form of currency exchange set up in the anomaly or space station. This currency exchange would enable you to trade units for Quicksilver. The ratios would need to be worked out, but I'd lean on the more extreme side for Quicksilver, since it is the only currency in the game that can't be exploited with duplication glitches. Sure, you can pulse fish for Quicksilver in certain systems, but, that's not very fun and it does take a lot of reloading. So as a starting point, I'd say that a ratio of 10 million to 1 sounds fair. So 1 billion units could be converted into 100 Quicksilver. You now have a reason to play and have a little more fun making money knowing that you can convert it. But now you no longer have the need to do the daily and weekly missions at the Nexus, right? Well, allow me to state the obvious and say that the Nexus missions have been pretty stinky anyway and would require an overhaul themselves. That could definitely be its own thing on this list, but I decided against it. But my quick solution to making daily and weekend Nexus missions more enjoyable is just to add more variety. That could probably be its own video. Let's move on to number 2. If you were to ask the average No Man's Sky player what change they would most like to see, it's not at all surprising that ship customization is at the top of that list. The counter-argument to this is that it would really kill the mystery and intrigue of ship hunting and the overall desire for exploration. Well, I can certainly understand both sides of the argument, but I don't believe this needs to be a binary debate. So let me propose my idea so both sides are satisfied. What if you were able to come across various ship parts which you could scan and earn a blueprint from? And yes, I know, it's very Subnautica for all the Subnautica players out there. These parts could be introduced in a variety of ways though, including but not limited to expeditions, Quicksilver items, derelict freighters, or just simply RNG while out exploring the vastness of space in the form of floating ship parts when you get a signal that an item of interest has been detected. For once, it would be a treat to discover something other than a trader trying to sell you carbon nanotubes. There's no question in my mind that ship customization can be brought into the game in a way that doesn't stifle the desire for exploration, but enhance it. So to circle back around to unique galaxy traits, perhaps only certain ship parts and color options are present in certain galaxies. With procedural generation, my mind is spinning with the possibilities of a robust selection of ship parts to build your perfect fighter or explorer spread out across the entire No Man's Sky universe. If you integrate exploration with being able to obtain customized ship parts and accessories, everybody wins. So number 3 was a good lead-in to number 2, but it's important to say that all of these has led to what I believe needs to happen to take this game to the next level. Here's number 1. Hello Games needs to hire more developers and fresh minds. The current staff have laid an incredible foundation after a lot of sweat and toil, and most of all, criticism over the past 5 years. What many don't realize is that they're a totally independent studio doing remarkable work, considering they started No Man's Sky with borrowed internet service and a dozen developers. That being said, it's not as if Sean can walk out back and pluck a few developers from their developer tree.
It's not always easy though.
Adding staff and workspaces does obviously come with a cost. The question is, do we, as loyal No Man's Sky players, want to pony up and give Hello Games the means to do so? Having said all that, I'm of the opinion that this game needs to be monetized either through microtransactions or some form of season pass. Hold on now, hold on. Now before you click the thumbs down button and reach for some overripe pieces of fruit to throw at my head, please understand this. I love this game, and I'm willing to support it in any way possible if the added revenue would allow Hello Games to bolster their staff and allow them to make the changes they want to make in a timely manner. If we take a look at fellow countryman and studio, Rare, who is behind the Sea of Thieves adventure game, they too went through a very similar and tough period where Sea of Thieves endured a tremendous amount of criticism for having precious little to do despite its beautifully rendered water. It's important to note that Rare did merge with Microsoft Game Studio nearly 20 years ago, and it's not exactly independent, so it isn't a fair comparison as far as how deep their pockets are with the backing of Microsoft. But if we were to fast forward to today, it's killing it. Sea of Thieves has grown a tremendous amount since launch with ship and character customization as well as special emotes and weapons you can not only earn but also purchase with their special currency obtained by real-world money. Yes, I know, the devil's work, microtransactions. An unfortunate reaction is to curse any studio for being a sellout and being evil, money-grubbing suits who only care about the bottom line. But I do think each case needs to be evaluated separately. When it comes to pay-to-play mechanics in certain games, where you can buy your way to higher levels or get OP weapons which punish players who don't pay.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
What?
That, in my opinion, is worthy of criticism. But if you were to look at it as a means of supporting the studio and enhancing the growth rate of a game you enjoy playing, I don't see what's wrong with that.
Thank you so much.
No game studio is doing it for free and paying their employees with high fives and coffee. So if a studio wants to offer items to superfans who would love to purchase unique items that look cool and don't give any unfair advantages, why would you be against that? You know, I'll go on the record right here, right now, to say that if HG were to ever offer unique base building parts, character customization, or unique ship adornments, I would happily pay. So the question to this great community is this: would you? And that does it, guys. That's my list on how to make this great game even better. I hope you enjoyed the video, and like I mentioned earlier, please drop your thoughts down below. I honestly want to have a healthy debate about what parts of the game you would change and how you would change them. Thanks so much for watching, guys. This is Taylor with Whiskey Barrel Gaming, signing off.